Welcome to the Worldwide Reds podcast, where we've got an all-star cast tonight. Tonight is Manchester United v Chelsea at Old Trafford. Pressure on Amron, Chelsea unbeaten, and Garnacho returns in blue. Big narratives, big stakes. Let's get into it. How are we, boys? And how's your day been? I know Elliot's had his daughter's birthday party today. I hope it's been as good as that for everyone else.
All right. Morning, good afternoon, good evening, where everybody's watching from. Thanks for squeezing me in last minute to the show. Obviously, I had a last minute change of plans, and glad to be on.
Pleasure as always.
Hopefully a bit better than last week, Adam. We'll just say, and then as we're going live, remember this time last week, I was doing this stream and I had the Liverpool-Burnley match on, and now that's when Hannibal decided to become a goalkeeper. And now Liverpool's about to play Everton to sort of get me through to United's, a 2:30 a.m. kickoff tonight. So it's a tough one, 2:30 on a Sunday morning. Do we set the alarm or do we stay up? But I'm
sure what do you guys usually do? What do you usually do at a 2:30 kickoff?
Very rare do we have that on a Saturday night. Very rare it's that one on a Saturday. Usually that's reserved for the sort of Monday morning game. So I'm not sure. I'm going to have to think. I have a feeling I'm going to just maybe get a pillow and sleep on the couch. Hopefully the Liverpool-Everton match is a boring 0-0 draw, and I can fall asleep to that. And I'll have the alarm set for 2:25. But who knows? But maybe I'll feel better or worse after this chat, and that'll dictate my decision.
Look, honestly, I'm just happy we're finally not on Monday morning at 1:30 a.m. Like as bad as 2:30 on a Sunday morning is, it is so much better than 1:30 on a Monday when you got it. It's that in between. Don't know whether you're waking up or staying up, and you got to be up at work for 6 a.m. What? At least I can sleep through this after.
Yeah, that's right.
Devon hasn't experienced a 2:30 a.m. kickoff, have you, or a 1:30 a.m. kickoff?
Not for the Premier League. No, it's So the first match, the Liverpool Everton match, will be 7:30 a.m. for us.
Yeah, well, ours kicks off in 25 minutes here. So 9:30, which is a great kickoff. But I suppose they always kick off early for that derby, don't they? Yeah. So Anyways, let's get into it. And you know what I read today? I saw a stat today that Chelsea hasn't won at Old Trafford in 13 years. So there's another record that can be broken tonight.
Every time I hear one of those stats, I worry. I'm like, there goes, exactly. Why did you have to say that? Why?
Adam, is there anything in this? The last time Chelsea did win at Old Trafford, we won the league that year. So is there anything in that?
It feels like that story has been reversed because it feels for the best part of, even longer than a decade. That was us at Chelsea. I remember under Solskjaer, we broke it a few times. I think we got 1 or 2 wins in and around Solskjaer and COVID sort of thing. But I remember for the best, even when we were good, going away to Chelsea was just, pencil in, 0 points this week.
Yeah.
And, But who knows? It's one of those ones that George just brings up the point there. I do think that is potentially the last time. And I think, George, correct me if I'm wrong, Juan Mata was the scorer?
He was. It was a 2-1 win to Chelsea. Juan Mata was a goal scorer and an own goal from Rio.
There you go.
Unbelievable. Well, look, Chelsea's due for a loss, so they're 4 in a row. So, and then we've got our young fella coming back, Garnacho, which I'm hoping someone just niggles at his ankles all game, and he has to limp off. And
do you all remember the Ashley Young treatment on Di Maria in the Champions League match?
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. The Chelsea manager's come out and he's clearly stated that obviously they're not going to take it easy. Obviously, being that the 13 years they haven't won there. So, look, I think United players are going to come out after last week. They've copped it hard, I think, last week off the fans, and I think Ruben would have absolutely towed them up. I think I'm hoping for a reaction in this game, and we haven't seen too many reactions from outside over the last few years, but I don't want to say it, but I am feeling good again about beating Chelsea. Thoughts?
That's just being a United fan. If we were dead last against the team coming first, so there is always that hope, and that is what Man United does give you. But I'd go back to the question you mentioned earlier, or a hope in and around Garnacho. We was discussing earlier with a few mates, and again, it's the little things we're clinging to at the moment. We can't cling to winning titles or anything. We're clinging to sort of any sort type of victory we can get. And Garnacho is the sort of flavour of the month at the moment, and I'm looking forward to someone absolutely going through him and sort of welcoming him back to Old Trafford. But I'll open up to the panel. Do we have anyone really doing that? Because, okay, it would be Roy Keane, it would be Paul Scholes, it would be Gary Neville. They're the ones who would do that. Is anyone in this team doing it? I think you could maybe say, okay, you could see a situation with Casemiro or Agate, maybe. But maybe they're good friends with Garnacho, I'm not sure.
Well,
That's what I want to see. I want to see a real test on Garnacho physically. I just don't have full confidence. I want to have confidence, and maybe I'll be proven wrong. But full confidence is one of our players.
Wouldn't he?
Dorgu
was keen for a battle with him. I saw him post something on Instagram or something.
But I think if they're I agree. But I think if they're posting stuff to each other on Instagram, I think that's very friendly, in my opinion. They're doing that in a public setting. But that's what, unfortunately, yes, we hope for 3 points. One of my hopes is a rough night for Garnacho.
I think Euro might give him a little bit of a
that he comes
touch.
on. Do you only think he comes on because he did not play well in the Champions League, if I remember?
I think that's one of the things. He might not actually be on the pitch.
Yeah,
and it's a moot point.
Because the fans, the fans going to the game are going to absolutely batter him. Like if the players aren't going to do it, the fans are going to absolutely batter him.
And do you remember the old Carlos Tevez chant we had after he left? They might revive that one.
Yeah, like he's going to get booed when he touches the ball. I just don't even I'd be very surprised if the Chelsea manager gives him more than 20 minutes.
It's a strong case that he might actually, whether it be off the bench the last little bit of the match or just doesn't play at all. I think just in regards to the narrative is around Manchester United, there is just a real possibility that he doesn't feature.
And I think you got to take into account as well the amount of attacking options they have in the final third. They've got a lot of players to rotate through. Like they've got Giddens, they've got Pedro Neto, Joel Pedro can play out wide. I mean, he's probably going to play through the middle with Liam Delap's injury, but they still do have an abundance of options they can use.
They do.
Yeah. Makes it difficult to prepare as well, I guess, from our perspective.
And that right there, now that you said that, that's something that I get so upset over Amram being dead set in his system, because every single team knows exactly how we're going to play. They're going to learn how to counter it, but we don't know how they're going to set up. And somehow this system is supposed to work against all of them. And this is my biggest criticism I have of all. It's like, you got to know what team strengths are. You got to know what your strengths are. Clearly, this system that we're playing is not our strength right now. And right now, the only thing that matters is just getting points on the board. Not just one. We need 3 points on the board badly. And so we need to do whatever it takes to get out there and win this match.
See, I get that in regards to, and there's a lot of noise, and you're not wrong in saying that. It's something I do agree with in regards to the preparation. And Rio Ferdinand's come out as well and said teams know how Manchester United are going to play. My only pushback there is go back to, here we are as Manchester United fans, going back to Sir Alex Ferguson days. Teams knew how we were going to play. The great Barcelona team, we knew how they were going to play. We know how we were winning.
But those teams were winning, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, no, of course.
When you're winning, nobody's going to complain.
Yeah, no, not in a complaint, but in an actual a manager preparing for a match. It's one of those things I just think, and I'm very old school in the way and probably in a minority, that it's not that important. I do side with Ruben Amorim. It's not that important, in my opinion, the formation, the system, the tactics, however you don't want to interpret it. The players need to turn up and the players need to deliver. Now, that is a huge part of Ruben Amorim's job. He needs to be able to get the best out of them, of course. But I do look at times, and everyone knew how Sir Alex Ferguson was going to play. Everyone knows how Pep Guardiola is going to play. Everyone knows how Jurgen Klopp was going to play. That front three, how set in stone was that front three of Firmino, Sadio Mane, and Mohamed Salah. If players are playing well, it doesn't matter if the coach is prepared or not.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong in saying that. And it's, if the players are good enough to play it where you know what they're going to do and you still can't stop them, by all means, have at it. Can you say that about our current Manchester United side?
Yeah, definitely not. That is an issue. I don't have confidence there. We should have confidence, but unfortunately, definitely not at the moment.
It's a crazy time. Oh, look, I tend to agree with Tom a bit. I think it's more down to the players turning up. Everyone. I think a lot of they break down teams at training and stuff like that. They go through it all week, don't they? I think it's a little bit of a cop out for the media when they keep coming out saying that all the time. And but again, it's just our midfield. Our midfield. I think Tom, you brought out the line. I'll put that up later. But I think the key to this game is that midfield again. And in the press conference, Ruben's come out and talked about Bruno. The reason why he's playing Bruno deeper is because he wants him more on the ball, which I just think if he's more on the ball, the more of a chance he's not going to get forward. He's behind the play straight away because he's that type of player that pushes the ball forward and then he's got to work his way up the pitch again. And that's one thing I'm not dead set against, but I just don't think he's got an answer for that at the moment.
I think there is a potential answer. It's just whether he thinks or has the balls to drop one of, or Cunha's injured now, so it's more easy for him to do that and play Bruno in one of those 10s. And then that gives an allowance for someone like Mainu or Agate to come into the team, because what's happening when Bruno is playing as one of those deeper lying midfielders is his natural instinct is going to get him forward further up the pitch. And I guess starting a bit further back will get him on the ball more. But once he's progressed higher up the pitch and the ball's turned over, Casemiro, a 33-year-old Casemiro, is getting found out being by himself, where he doesn't have the legs that he used to. And is that something that Mainu solves? Is it something that Agate solves? I'm not sure they can do it by themselves. And that's where we speak about, do we have the profile of player to play that system? Maybe not. But is the fault the system? Is the fault the system? No. And where I point the finger, not to insulate Amorim from any criticism, we knew what Ruben Amorim was like as a manager. We knew how he played at Sporting. We knew that he's very strict and rigid in his philosophy. My question is that Ineos and the Glazers, whoever it was appointing this manager, if you knew it wasn't going to work and you weren't going to go all in on him, why do it? That's my question.
Yeah. Look, it's a wider debate in regards to that recruitment and a football department sort of implementing a plan and showing patience through tough times. But just back in regards to Bruno Fernandes, looks so divisive even when he's doing well. Even when Bruno Fernandes is scoring 20 goals, still some fans sort of don't really like him in terms of how frustrating he can be. I always go back to, and I say this is a big fan of Bruno Fernandes, when he's in, and I don't like to see him in midfield. I do want to see him higher up the pitch. But just an argument for the midfield role is when he is in one of those 10 positions or an attacking position, a huge frustration is how sort of crazy he gets, especially off the ball. He'll go pressing a goalkeeper and sort of leave gaps in behind it in that sort of initial press. And I'm just saying, whenever he is in one of those 10s, or in the 10 position under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for example, or Erik ten Hag, we say it'd be better if he's in midfield. He'll be more disciplined. He's better footballing performances come when he's in midfield. When we put him in midfield to get him on the ball and keep him away from sort of losing his position and start pressing the goalkeeper and start pressing the left back and stay in one position, okay, he's a little bit more solid, but we lose the brilliance that he does bring in regards to goals and assists. So that comes down to what George was saying there in regards to the profile of players we have. I don't want to do this, and it's stupid because he's probably our best player. It's always, we seem to be having this debate every couple of years. Are we better off with our best player not playing? We might actually be better off with Bruno Fernandes on the bench. I'm not saying that's the case, but it's kind of, that leads into the debate we're sort of having. If you can't really find a position for him, or it's limiting someone like a Kobbie Mainoo, maybe there is an argument that, I'm not saying it is the case, but it's definitely worth the discussion.
I just think with that situation, I think Ruben's got to pick what times to play Bruno. You know what I mean? Like when you're playing, look, I know we're 15th and we're in the lower end of the table from last year, and we're still in 14th this year. But I think Ruben's got to. I know every game seems like a hard game for us, and that is the case for us at the moment. I think Ruben's got to play Mainoo. Yeah, maybe against that lower tier team or something like that, and give Bruno that break or something. I don't know. Something's got to be worked out there. It's a tough one. I'm glad I'm not the manager trying to sort that one out.
Simple nightmare of not. Sorry, Elliot, but the simple nightmare of not qualifying for Europe.
That's it.
You can't get the games out there for players, and that is the nightmare. It's not a financial thing; it's squad management, squad rotation. You are going to annoy players because simply there's no game. I would play Kobe Manu, but there might not be a game for Kobe Manu for 3 or 4 weeks. Where if you're in the Champions League, he's playing once a week, whether that be in the league or Europe.
I think the injuries that we've got now should have forced the manager to play him further up the field. Like, I mean, from my perspective, we've had the 2 10s that he wants to probably play and have been injured. It should have forced the manager's hand. Look, he's probably the best option in there now that's fit. Bring Manu in and give it, because I did think that Manu showed some promise off the bench against City last week, even though, the game at that time was probably dead and buried. There was still some, you could still see he could bring what we were looking for in that position. I do think Bruno looks lost, and his body language is showing that he seems lost, and his confidence is shot as a result of he doesn't want to be playing there himself. Like you can see that.
The issue there for Ruben Amorim trying to, as I said, okay, an injury could, and I was kind of calling for that in discussions I've been having. I was saying at the start of the season, we kind of almost needed an injury to maybe shuffle 1 or 2 and sort of give minutes sort of thing. But I do look at that in regards to, let's say, and forget the names, just, okay, we want to see this player play in one of the 10s. Okay, we might actually be stronger. The situation we find ourselves in, if this player comes into this position and we lose, the media and the fan base just unfortunately are going to go into meltdown, and there is going to be huge pressure to change it. And I'm just thinking, for a player to develop, and for, let's say, a system or formation to develop organically, you might need 2 or 3 games and go through some rough spells. You look at Brighton, the prime example in terms of implementing a system. Brighton will go 6-7 weeks without winning a game. No one will make a noise. And they can just continue to develop, continue to progress, and continue to grow in that system without any pressure. If United concede a corner, it is a meltdown, and we have to change the whole thing. And I just think that is where Ruben Amorim is sort of, every game is unfortunately an FA Cup final. And I just think there's not that room to, okay, let's see how Kobe Manu goes in there for 2 games. Because if we play Kobe Manu and after 1 game it doesn't work, there is going to be huge pressure to change it. And that is not, it's just a reality of the situation that he's going to have to find a way to deal with that. I'm aware of that, but it's just the unfortunate nature of the beast.
Well, here's another one for you. Play Kobe at the 10. With the 2
for me, he's our best player. I know I said Bruno Fernandes, but I say Bruno Fernandes in regards to the numbers. Adam agrees with me in regards to Kobe, but I think he's our best footballer. So yeah, play him at the 8, at the 10, I don't care. I just personally, I don't mind him a little bit deeper just in midfield. Now, whether that be midfield 2 or in 3, that's a debate for another day. I prefer him a little bit deeper, but you can see him on the ball. You just go back, your mind obviously gravitates to the goal against Wolves or the goal against Liverpool. He obviously 100% can play in the number 10 position. Of course, I just the way I view it, I prefer him a little bit deeper, but I wouldn't lose any sleep if he's starting in one of the 10s.
I just want to see him start. I just want to see him start, and I think we all do. We want to see him starting, because what that does for us as fans, that lifts us. And on a game at Chelsea today, you see Kobe Manu starting. I think we're all crying out for it. It lifts the gap. It lifts us. It will lift the team, and I just think that there's a knock-on effect to that positive move. And I know it's pot ball. I know it's very repetitive for us on here. It's a frequently discussed topic, but I just want to see him start a game.
For me, it's more about. Tom and I agree a lot on this, but it's, for me, with Manu, it's more, when he's on the ball, I just see a player that's got a lot of vision, a lot of time on the ball. He doesn't rush. He's very good at tackling. Defensively, I think he's sound. But they always talk about him, he's running. He's 6 foot, for God's sakes. He can run. He's just one of those players that look like he's not running real quick, but he certainly gets there. And I just think he can spread the play a lot easier. You can beat a player 1v1. And every player's got faults in their game. But for me, it's more Kobe. He's got a lot of time on the ball. And when he is tight on players, which is a big thing for me, when he's tight on players or when the defensive player's really tight, he's got that vision to beat him 1v1 and then release someone. And that's big for me in the midfield. And it releases our team. It just bursts that bubble for our team. I don't know.
And where I really like Kobe as well is when we try to play up the back, he just seems to be our one midfielder that's so comfortable receiving the ball back to goal when we're under pressure, whether it be in our own box or slightly outside our own box with a very high pressing team like what Caicedo and Fernandes will do against us. He's going to be our one midfielder that's not phased by that. He won't kick the ball away for no reason. He won't be the one that's pressured into playing a 50-yard diagonal ball that's not going to come off because nobody's prepared for it. He will have the composure. He will have the composure to take a touch and link up play. He will have the ability to get Bruno or whoever our other 10 is involved. He can play the direct ball if needed as well. If Dorgu or Dallo, whoever our wingbacks are, happen to be making that run.
I agree.
Well, he comes looking for the ball too. We don't have too many midfielders that come looking for the ball in that back section of the play. You know,
Casemiro's not. He's not
the amount of times I see like Luke Shaw on the ball, say, and he's looking for a player come and grab the ball off him to get it moving through the midfield. Maynard goes looking for that ball all the time. The other midfielders there, and I'm including Bruno in this. If Bruno's playing that deeper role, he should be looking for that ball every time. There shouldn't be a question about it. If he's deep, and Ruben wants him on the ball all the time, why is it our fullbacks are always looking for someone to feed into? I question that to Ruben. It's something he never answers. It's ridiculous.
That is a hard. I agree. That's just a hard thing in regards to the way we interpret this, and not in a right or wrong way, but interpret this. I hate going into it with the formation and this 3-4-3. I just use it. Obviously, my playing experience when I played the number 6, where I would go to pick up the ball. If nothing was on, I'd go drop in between the centre backs, and that's where I'd be able to pick up the ball. Let's say Bruno Fernandes or Kobe Manuel is that sort of number 6 role, come to get the ball off the defence. Is he really going to be dropping in there when you already have a Matthias de Ligt in that sort of area of the pitch in between two centre backs? And I just think sometimes I know if I was playing there and I had a centre back in that area, I would be very hesitant in going there and sort of picking up the ball. Now, that is obviously where Ruben Amorim needs to give all the instructions on if a player's in this zone, you go to this zone to get the ball. That's obviously they're going to have a far greater understanding than myself, but that is maybe where which should be addressed by now, of course, but that is where one of the growing pains of getting, let's say, used to a system, I definitely could potentially point a finger at Ruben Amorim at.
Yeah, definitely. You're a little bit quiet there, Devon. Take it all in.
Yeah, it's we're sitting through this and our brains are scrambling. I know I have my thoughts, and I've been sitting here trying to listen to all of you to see whether it changes my thoughts or whatnot regarding the Bruno and Kobe situation. And the one that I agree with the most I heard is the fact that because there's the less matches, not many players are getting minutes. And then the next question that I started thinking about is, and I can't believe I'm saying this about Bruno right now, should we have taken that 9-figure offer that we got for him in the summer?
100%.
I agree.
I said it at the time in regards to not that any player is bigger than the club, that the club should make a decision on the best interest of the club. Because I almost looked at it from a point of view where I didn't put it all in Bruno Fernandes' court, but I'd say if I was the club, I'd go to Bruno and say, look, we're very happy to accept this. If you want to stay, we're happy to keep you, but we're willing to accept this if you do want to go. Now, should the club have just accepted it and forced him out? I think in terms of our emotion now, yes, that would have made sense. But I also look at the situation. Are we better off this season? Because look at the start of the season. Arsenal, City and Chelsea, there's a very real possibility we're going to lose those 3 games regardless. If we lose those 3 games without Bruno Fernandes and he's off in Saudi Arabia, we'll be saying, if we had Bruno Fernandes back, would things have been different? And again, that's all hypothetical.
the next part of that I was getting into was, had we done that, do you believe that money would have been properly invested into the squad, aka the fellow from Brighton, Carlos Baleba, who right now he does not look like he's having a great season as well either. I know the manager is saying that his head is rattled by the potential move. I'm hearing that we're going to go for him in January anyway. I don't know if that's true or not, but I sit there like it's what is it? Hindsight's 2020. Looking back now.
I think you'd hope, in regards to that money coming through, you'd hope it would be reinvested, but the confidence is not there.
It's, when I think about it this way, Bruno Fernandes is 31. I think he is. Kobe Mainu is what, 20, I think?
I think he's 20, 19, 20.
So it's like, if he leaves, you could have had 10, 11 years of him in that midfield versus you might get a season more or two out of Bruno Fernandes now. And so that is where I worry as well from this standpoint. And I tell you, I go back and forth all the time about should we have accepted that money. And
do you think the other thing that might have been factored in though is what if we let him go? Who's our captain? Do you think that was part of the reasoning to keep him?
That's a very good
captain.
question.
I just think our best player. Not obviously, I've said Kobe Mainoo is our best player, but you can't hide from the fact that Bruno's our captain. Bruno, if someone's going to step up and score a big goal, it's probably going to be Bruno Fernandes. So I get the argument of him being our best and most sort of influential player. I just think that's the case with Bruno Fernandes. That would be my hesitancy selling him from the club's point of view. If this season was to go like this without Bruno Fernandes, which very well could have been the case. As said, Arsenal, Chelsea and City, games are very likely going to lose regardless. If that's done off the back of selling your best player, the reaction, you can only imagine the reaction. So, look, today I say yes, we should have accepted the Saudi Arabia bid. 6 weeks ago, I'll say no, I was happy for Bruno Fernandes to stay. If he scores a hat-trick today or we win 1-0 thanks to Bruno Fernandes' penalty, I think it would be fantastic that we didn't accept the Saudi Arabia bid. That's just the fickle nature. But, it is where
I think
today I do say, we could have done with that 95 million and a bit of an easier selection in midfield.
But I think where we are at now this season, with no European football, minimal games, this was the right time to accept that offer, in my opinion, with a small calendar of fixtures. If, let's say hypothetically, we turn our form around and we do okay this year and we do get some European football, whether that's Conference League or Europa or whatever, it then becomes harder to accept an offer for Bruno because of our fixture lists next year, like the following season, and and thinking that maybe we don't strengthen in that midfield, or we don't fully strengthen in that midfield how we want to. It then becomes harder for us to accept that offer, in my opinion.
I think another issue as well is how many seasons now has our club been absolute, in the transfer market? Whether it comes to buying players, we get our pants pulled down. When we go to selling players, we get our pants pulled down. I mean, how many players have we actually bought and sold for profit? And I'm not talking about academy either. And so I think this would have been a perfect opportunity as well, looking back now, to kind of reset that clock on that and being like, you want our player? Like, yeah, you pay this amount. Because either way, I know we made like 660 million last year or whatever from the reports that came out. But that being said, this could have helped out even more, because I think we still operated at a loss. With that being said, we had to tap into our revolving credit line to buy the players this summer as well too. And I still think that needs to be reset. That United needs to start putting their foot down on the transfer market like all these other clubs are doing.
Look, we still struggle to get rid of players like Rashford. And I mean, Tom knows how much I love Rashford, but we can't even get rid of players like him because he's on such big dollars. And that's the biggest problem we've got.
That's going to take a generation to change.
I think it's not on the transfer market. It's like how much. Yeah. Like I put it this way: Chelsea charged us how much for Mount, and then we got how little for Garnacho. things like that.
Look, I share all the frustration and agree. Everyone's right in regards to the way Manchester United do their transfer business, the ins and outs. I just think in regards to that, one, accepting fees, but also sort of buying players as well. The mismanagement over the last decade, even longer than the decade when we really look at it, it's unfortunately going to hopefully not take 10 years to fix, but we're going to see even more pain. There's going to be very frustrating deals over the next 3, 4, 5 years. It's going to take a huge time to change that.
Exactly. Yeah.
The way we're viewed.
Look, I'm sorry. Like, I know it's been 10 years of bad things, but like you say, 10 years of mismanagement, that takes 20 years to fix. Like, I always think that every year of mismanagement, it's 2 years to fix it. And if it's been 10 years worth, look, it might not be until 2050 that we lift the league again. And that's a reality.
Jesus, George.
Look, as bad as that is, George, and you're right. And look, well, hopefully you're not right. You know what I mean. Think how bad it is at the moment. Now, it's weird because Arsenal are very close to the in and around the title now, of course. So you can't hide away from that. And there's a situation where they go win the league this year. Do you think how bad it is for us guys? 2013, Sir Alex Ferguson, that was the last Premier League title. Arsenal's 2004. Like, I just think that were a long time ago.
Yeah,
and
but
I just think, it's interesting.
But Arsenal don't get the media scrutiny like we do.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've always said this. Every single thing that's done at Manchester United is publicized, and it doesn't matter how good you do. They'll always try to find something negative to say because the negativity about Manchester United sells, and that just goes back to the brilliance of Sir Alex Ferguson's teams. That these people are still doing this to this day. That's why you have these ex-pundits now who couldn't win a single thing, who probably couldn't even complete a pass against our sides now, talking about us as if they dominated us of every single week in, week out, because they're still bitter from what Sir Alex did to them. So now we're seeing the back end of that too.
I've just got one here from Life of Football shirt collector. We need a new scouting system. For me,
I don't think
scouting
so.
system. I don't think so. Like if you go and watch our juniors. Our juniors are very, very, very good. We've got the kid JJ Gabriel. He's just scored. I think he's just scored another double.
We have Shane Nason that's coming back and fit as well.
Our scouting system's really good. It's just that jump from 18s to reserves to first. Something in between that is just not right.
No, I'll tell you. You go back on this right now. How many players did Ole identify that are now balling at different clubs? How many players did Ralph Rangnick identify that are balling at different clubs now? It's that the management at the top level does not want to pull the trigger and go and sign these players. So the players are being identified. It's not the scouting team. It's not them. It's the people above them who are making the final say are the problem.
The perfect example I always fall back on, and I've spoken to George about this before, the perfect example, and maybe fit in today in regards to playing Chelsea, but is Caicedo. Let's say Manchester United went in for him when we were linked, with the 3 million. I think it was around £3 million or something when he was still playing in Ecuador, and that's where Brighton got him. Said, "Oh, if Brighton can find these players, why can't Manchester United buy these players instead of buying him for 100 million? Let's go get him for 3 million." Let's say hypothetically we went and got him for 3 million, and he came into Manchester United's midfield, and it took him a couple of games. It wasn't quite working. He came into a disjointed team. He wouldn't last. He wouldn't develop into the £100 million player. So I'm just thinking, well, we can talk about sort of improving the scouting and finding these hidden gems. But those hidden gems can go to Brighton. Go back to watch Caicedo start at Brighton. I don't know. Maybe he was absolutely Ballon d'Or material. But I'm assuming he probably lost half his games and wasn't great. Not a peep. He could just develop. He could progress. The manager could place trust in him. If Solskjaer brought him into midfield and we didn't dominate, we weren't playing great football, get him out, put Fred back in, put McTominay in, Casemiro. He just wouldn't be able to develop. And so that is where I share the frustration. Okay, let's go get better scouts. Let's go find better players. I'm aware of that. But implemented at Old Trafford is just different to other clubs.
So you look at this as well. People forget who Ole managed in Norway at Molde. Holland.
Yeah. Well, here's a question for you, then, Devin.
Ole brought it up to Manchester United.
The question for you, Devin. Let's say Haaland comes in
for peanuts.
Let's say Haaland comes in under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Let's say 2021. Is Haaland the striker he is today at Old Trafford?
Well, you think back to that midfield that we had with Bruno and Pogba, probably.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying yes or no. It's just interesting in regards to
Because he
the
would have
first problem you got
he
is
would have had service coming through. Because I mean, even a 37-year-old Cristiano was getting service, and he was still scoring goals as well.
yeah, but that's my point. Like the first problem you got there, Devon, is if Ollie had brought Haaland in, right? Then the Glazers went after Ronaldo. So and that like Rashford was on fire before Ronaldo came in.
Greenwood was as well
He
too.
scored 30 goals a season. And
Greenwood was before his off the field stuff as well. But yeah, we had a side. Yeah,
it comes back at the end of the day to that top end of the club. You bring. I agree. I don't think Haaland would be the player he is today if he was at United. No chance.
you look at the butterfly effect.
The more and more that these financial constraints around all of the big football clubs are stricter and stricter and stricter, the larger the gap and the jump for those young players from academy and youth up to the first team is going to be, in my opinion. Because that academy system is just, for any club, is now just becoming more and more of a way to make money positively and abide by rules and meet those regulations.
Look, you're not wrong there, and I view it very similar, but I think we are guilty of this. I know I am, in regards to Sir Alex Ferguson bringing through the youth, and obviously your mind goes towards the class of 92 and the players who have come through. But you go back and look at, let's say, the second half of Sir Alex Ferguson's time at Manchester United. Can you rattle off the youth players who came through and had a career? You had Darren Fletcher. John O'Shea was in and around his after class of 92, obviously in that middle period.
Could you
Darren Fletcher?
Could you class Danny Welbeck?
Danny Welbeck had a very good career. Okay, but at Old Trafford, Cleverley. Okay, obviously in terms of Tom Cleverley was there for the Premier League. But in terms of Darren Fletcher, was really the only one who went and had a Manchester United career in that second half. Obviously, players went on, had good careers, and maybe contributed well to the first team. But in regards to that class of 92 came through and had Manchester United careers. After the class of 92, you're really going John O'Shea and Darren Fletcher. That is not to be critical of any other ones, but I just think our minds are tricked that we have these players coming in every single season. That's just not the case.
Wes Brown had a long career.
Wes Brown. I'm sure there are one or two, but in regards to, I think we are brainwashed to think, okay, every season there's got to be a youth player coming in and doing what Marcus Rashford did. It's very rare.
This is a narrative that United's put on everyone else. And they've done that with a few things, like the class of 92. Like, it's even the Paul Scholes factor when they won the Youth Cup. Paul Scholes wasn't even part of that team that won that Youth Cup. He came in the following year when they lost to Leeds.
Phil Neville wasn't part of it.
That's right. And
technically Ryan Giggs was before, he wasn't playing with that.
And these are the things that the club, people think it's just when the Glazers are in. These things have been happening for years and years and years at Manchester United. If you look at your club history and you go back, it's as bad as the Bible sometimes. Seriously. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, look, I know we've gone a lot off topic, but they were hot topics that we're going through. I just got a question. Do you think this is I wrote a few questions. Do you think this is Chelsea tonight's game? Well, tomorrow for us, it's a game where Chelsea has to make a statement, or it's United saving their season? For me, I don't think it's United saving their season because we're still early days. It's more probably Ruben Amorim being more under pressure.
I don't think it's Chelsea making a statement because I think for them, because of the record at Old Trafford, I just think it's breaking that curse. However it is they do it. And let's say we were to get a result, even a point. Is it saving United season? No, because we've been diabolical all year and we're probably going to be diabolical the next 3 weeks because that's what our recent history has shown. And a question, I know it's a bit, I don't know if we consider it off top. Who plays in goals tomorrow? Boys, who do you think plays in goals tomorrow?
All right, well, while we're at it, let me put Tom's lineup up. So this is Tom's. I asked Tom today to give me a predicted lineup. So this is Tom's predicted lineup. Let me know what you think.
I'll just caveat, I'm not sure if this is predicted or preferred. I think it's a little bit of a mix, and there's a curveball at the bottom, which everyone's going to disagree with.
Yeah.
It's just and Liverpool have scored. Okay. Just in time.
Joy.
My thinking.
Amazing. Okay.
Someone pick it apart, and I'll give you my thinking. Again, it's in between a prediction and maybe a preferred.
For me, Layman's has to come in. No question about it. No question about it. We've got him boarding.
There's been a lot of.
Can you say where each player is playing in their position? Like, is Xerxes playing as the 9?
Yeah. So a back three: Yoro, Delete, and Shaw. Mazraoui at right wing back. Dorgo at left wing back. Bruno and Mainu in the middle, with Cunha and Mbeumo in behind Xerxes.
No Sheshko.
Yeah, look, I don't think that the manager's going to play Bruno and Mainu together as much as we would like to see it, but.
My thinking there, and I agree. When I'm putting that team together, I'm thinking, okay, where are we without the ball? Is that defensively sound enough? I'm aware of that. I just think in regards to, I'm no body language expert, but looking at Ruben Amorim and one or two things he is saying, I think where we are, and it's the way I view football as well, where we're really struggling defensively, just the way I view it, is giving the ball away. I don't think it's so much in regards to tackling and defensive positioning and tracking runners. I think where we are struggling off the ball is when we are on the ball, giving it away cheaply. And I just think there is now that situation where you get your two best footballers on the ball in that area of the pitch will hopefully limit the amount of defending you do have to do. So that's where I'm thinking. Again, I don't think this will happen, but maybe that is where my preference leans in that one in regards to playing Mainu and Bruno. And Xerxes, I'm aware. I want to see Sheshko playing the big money transfer. He's got to start playing. He's got to start scoring, of course. I just think with Cunha and Mbeumo coming back in, hopefully Cunha is available. It does seem like he is ready. If he's to start, I just don't think Dorgu, when the ball goes to him on the edge of the box or in that left wing channel, I just don't have great confidence in delivering the ball. So I just see a situation where Sheshko is not really getting the service. So that is where I look.
I love this comment. Sorry.
Xerxes may be someone who can link up with Mbeumo and Cunha a little bit more from what I've seen.
Look, I think I do agree in that regard. I think how we're linking up and stuff at the moment, we're more likely to score with Xerxes at 9 instead of Sesko. I'd like to see him there. Yeah, I agree. I also think that the goalkeeper, there's been a lot of positive chat around him. Tom Heaton said he's training well, he's confident, he's looking like good. It's whether whether the manager thinks he's ready or not. I think he's probably seen more than us, but I think we'd like to see him there. The other one, the player that I thought that he could drop today is Luke Shaw. I thought
he was bad. Or that one that does sprint one when Doku sort of skips past him, of course. But a lot of my thinking with this team as well, and Harry Maguire did an interview. I didn't listen to it in full. I just picked up one or two snippets. But he did also mention it, and it's something I have always felt, and it's hard to really bring up in a discussion around Ruben Amorim and the system. But I do think we far more frequently than people do give us credit for, play with a 4 at the back. I think when we do see the graphic at the start of the game and we see 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, we think that's how we play. And we see the centre-backs on the field. The way I interpret the football a lot and just the shape, and it's not to say I'm right in my view, but I do think we play with a 4 quite often. And I do think Dorgu pretty much is a left winger. And that is where I think Mazraoui could be your right back, Luke Shaw your left back, and Delit and Yoro in the middle as a traditional 4. And obviously, Mbeumo is sort of hugging the touchline. He's not really playing in that inside role. So again, I'm not saying this is a sort of textbook 4-3-3, but I do think if you to take away the emotion of all this narrative around the 3-4-3 system and actually watch us play, especially on the ball, I do think we're a little bit more 4-3-3 than a lot of people do give us credit for. No, I don't want to say credit, but sort of appreciate. And so. I don't know if that's a predicted or a preferred. I'm not sure, but it's what I'm thinking ahead of kickoff.
When we don't have the ball and we're defending, yeah, I do think so.
For mine, for Dorgu needs to be whipping in better crosses as well. Far out. If Sesko's starting, we need to, mate. He's a big man. We need to get some crosses on his head. I just find him lazy when he's crossing. It's just like ball's always really close to his foot, and he's just trying to beat that. He can't get over that first man for mine. And then you got Ahmed on the other side. If it's still like that, Ahmed's not really going to whip across in, is he? So if we've got a 6 foot plus goal, 9. We're going to start looking for his head, I think. I'm not sure, but yeah.
And crossings, look, Dorgu as a player, look, if you would take out the name, take out what he's done at United, if you're looking at as a £15 million signing from Lecce, you just think this guy's a shit player, and that's exactly what Dorgu's shown me every time he's been at United. Like, I do not rate the guy at all. Couldn't make a cross in a church. He's got a football IQ of a 2-year-old.
I'm not the only one. I think he's killing us.
And especially, and what burns me even more is, and one thing I'll never forgive Ten Hag for, is just not giving Alvaro Fernandez a chance. And we're seeing him start games for Real Madrid now. Come on.
Yep.
Well, you know me, George, and Adam as well. Whenever on this FA Youth Cup team, and again, it's quite fitting today, Alejandro Garnacho was the one sort of getting all the headlines. He scored, I think, a very good goal in the semi-final, scored in the final at Old Trafford as well.
Scored a double in the final.
For me, the player was Alvaro Fernandez, and obviously Kobe Mainoo was coming through as well. And I just think it's funny how sort of football works at times. But it's all. But again, look, no one was calling for Alvaro Fernandez in the team more than myself. George and Adam would know that. But again, let's say Alvaro Fernandez came in at left back under Eric Ten Hag. Would he be the player he is just in regards to the situation around Manchester United? Maybe we wouldn't rate him and say, why aren't we going in and buying a better left back? It's just players, unfortunately, are maybe sometimes better suited away from Old Trafford in recent years.
But did we really buy a better left back? Like, okay, let's say we went and got, let's say we got Alphonso Davis or David Alaba. Okay, fair enough. You can understand the signing, but at what point is a £20 million left back from Lecce ever going to be better than the prime United youth product that's come from Barcelona's academy? In what world is that a reality?
Well, no, you definitely look. I wanted to keep it. You know that, of course. It's one of those ones. I just don't have confidence, and not to be critical of a manager's signing or the player, any particular player arriving themselves. I just see a situation where we go and get the perfect sign. Okay, the fan base is unanimous. Yep, this is the guy. This is the future. So, yeah, that's great. But when you come into this current situation, I just have a feeling it might not work. Look at Matthias Cunha, Brian and Gumo. That we all love them at the moment. In 6 months' time, if this season's not going to plan, we'll be saying, why on earth are we going for these players? They're playing for Wolves and Brentford. We need to be shopping at a bigger mark. And I just think it's tough. It's tough.
So I have a question regarding the midfield for today's game now. So we pretty much are going to say that Chelsea are going to depend heavily on Enzo and Caicedo to be their workhorses for this, to dictate the ball movement. How do we set up our midfield to stop that as much as possible, stop Joao Pedro from getting service?
Well, always the forgotten man, and I didn't include him in this 11 because I unfortunately always forget about him. Manchester United's number 7. I just think defensively there is always a manager's desire to include him.
Is he fit?
I think he's back. Or is Delo's back? Yeah, pretty sure he's back.
I think
whether he's available in terms of from the start, I'm not sure.
And Cunha, Mount and Cunha look like they're back.
Because
I wouldn't play Mount, but I can see why a manager defensively, I can see why he would put him in that area of the pitch.
I look at it because we could see, obviously, I think Euro is going to go on Pedro. But one thing that does worry me about this, though, is we're playing so much on that, and Cucurella could come up and put in a good ball. As much as I can't stand the guy, he can cross the ball, which is something our wing backs can't do. But
yeah, I think if
and fair play to Joao Pedro as well. What he's shown in his short Chelsea career is that he's a poacher. He can create chances for himself, and he looks like he's going to be a very good signing. Probably in the top. Look, I know it might be a bit premature saying this. Probably in the top 5 signings of the season in what's been a very busy transfer window.
Yeah, he's definitely It's never good to see an injury in football, but due to what was named Delap going down, Joao Pedro has stepped up. So you have to give credit to that where credit is due. But I also think if we don't have Euro man marking him, we're going to be in trouble because Euro has been probably, I would say, our most consistent player of the season so far. I know we're only a couple matches in, but he's been superb. So he's him and Mbuma right now are the first two names on my team sheet, and we need him to have a great game to stop him today.
I think with Lenny Yoro, it's somewhat overlooked in regards to obviously a bad time for Manchester United. The negativity and the feeling is completely justified in where Man United are at the moment. But just him personally, big money signing, came in, got injured in pre-season, had a change in manager. Eric Ten Hag brings him in, suddenly Ruben Amorim's your manager. I just think for a young player coming in from another league to Manchester United for big money fee, he's done well. I just think he's someone I can look at and think, okay, he started his life very well at Old Trafford. Fingers crossed it continues. He's still got a long way to go, but he's just one player where I see something there, and that's often not been the case with other players. So sometimes maybe he doesn't get the credit he deserves, in my opinion, Yoro.
What do you think he's thinking personally? Like with Lenny Yoro, like when he's had the chance to go to Real Madrid and he's seen the injury crisis they've had at the back, do you think he's regretting his decision?
That's what I was getting at with this right now. What happens when they come calling again? Especially if we don't improve and we lose them, we
charge them a fortune. We charge them a fortune.
It's where, unfortunately, we don't want this debate because we've always been that top dog. We always go and get the players. We're 15th in the league. It's not where we should be, but it's just a reality. Maybe we are that club for the time being. For the next couple of deals, for the next couple of windows, maybe we are that club who, I don't want to say stepping stone because Manchester United aren't a stepping stone.
I can't remember
for one or two individuals, we might be.
So we're becoming
Elliot, I hear what you're saying.
Stepping stone, though. We're becoming a stepping stone, though, Tom, aren't we?
We are. But I was saying, Elliot, I hear what you're saying regarding Euro wanting to charge him a fortune. And my fear with that is that they do to us what they did to Liverpool with Alexander Arnold. They tell him wait out his contract because I don't know how long we signed him for is the problem.
That's where a club has to be. Yeah, but that's where a club has to be very strong. And look, I agree. That's obviously a fear with Real Madrid. And I'm hoping Manchester United are having those discussions with their targets, saying we'll come and get you in a year and we'll give you a sign-on fee instead. But that is where, let's say, Manchester United have a view to sell Lenny Yoro for 100 million one season. If we can't get that from Real Madrid, and we're very wary that in 2 years he's going to go for zero, we'll go and accept 50 from Valencia, for example. I just plucking their name out of the hat. I just think that is where we have to be strong in accepting a fee that's not great, but better than zero. And I just think that's where a club has to be strong. And the strong decision might be get the football out of the player for another season and losing for free. That might be the right decision. Or the decision might be lose the good player and recoup a little bit of money. I'm not sure. You're going to have to treat every situation uniquely and different. But that's
they're a bit cunning, because they're about to do. It looks like they're about to do it again with Konate, I think, at Liverpool as well. They're similar sort of thing might happen with him.
And let's say if they carry on the same way that they did with Trent, that's just gone beyond a joke now, honestly.
But it seems that's the way that it's going to be going forward because now they have a track record. They did the same thing with Mbappe.
Oh no, absolutely, it's fine from Real Madrid's part. I was talking more about the way that Liverpool fans are carrying on with. Like, come on, mate.
Well, Liverpool fans are going to be Liverpool fans. Why is that even a surprise? Like, why? So we know that's going to happen.
But what's really annoying me about them, how they want to make comments about not giving out free staff lunches. Who gives a fuck? There's so many other problems, and that's the one you want to talk about.
But not even Liverpool's reaction to Trent Alexander-Arnold, but just and a lot of people. Jamie Carragher has said the same thing about Marcus Rashford. I'll just think stay on the Trent topic. I can't believe it's such a big topic. Like, he's a right back for Liverpool. Now, yes, two big clubs in Liverpool, Real Madrid. I don't understand why Trent gets all the hype around him. And again, Jamie Carragher said the same thing about Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford's great in what he does. Why does he dominate every headline? Like, he's not Mbappe, he's not Ronaldo, he's not Messi. Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't the greatest player in the world.
Because how many times does the British media do this where any player that shows a little bit of promise, all of a sudden the next great hope, and they build him up just to shut him down. They did the same thing with Joe Cole just because he could Rabona. So if you want to be a Chelsea player, an example as well. So it's a pattern.
We also
Yeah, but why
can't-
why are Liverpool fans acting like he signed for United or signed for Everton? Look, he signed for
Yeah.
a club in another country. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, that's Liverpool for you, isn't it? Like we embrace players going to Real Madrid from United, and yet Liverpool are bagging a player because he's been there since he's a kid, and they think he needs to stay there forever.
I think what Devon said there in regards to the media building up, especially in England, building up that next big thing. I think something we're maybe not recognising, which is right under our nose at the moment, is the situation around Kobbie Mainoo. While I share all the frustration I'm sitting here screaming, play Kobbie, play him. He's our best player. There is also a case where, how old we say he is? 20? 19, 20?
Yeah, 19, 20.
This is a standard part of a development. You're gonna have a couple of weeks where you're not playing football. It's very standard. But
this is my point, Tom.
But it's an outrage when it happens at United.
Yeah, this is my point with Kobbie. And people are saying he should be starting every game. I don't claim he should be playing every game. I think he should be learning from the bench.
Okay,
but
he's 20.
Like we were saying before, though, being that we don't have European football and now we're out of the Carabao Cup, he's going to be warming the bench more than playing. You know, Amarin's going to be struggling to pick and choose what game he's going to be playing for. It's a terrible situation for Kobbie, to be honest with you.
Amarin did say at the start of the season he will play. He will play, but I guess.
I mean, we have the January transfer window. We still have a few months before that opens back up. Let's see between now and then if the situation changes, because it's already been said on this show today that we have a very tough beginning to the schedule. But at some point, the schedule will start to lighten up and he'll have his opportunities. Hopefully, we don't get embarrassed in the FA Cup as well. That's another opportunity for him to come in and play. And we will see between now and then, because if he doesn't play between now and then, I can't blame him if he leaves. But I don't see
he wants to play World Cup, doesn't he?
I don't. Say that again?
He wants to play in the World Cup. He wants to make the England squad. So
and that's fair. And that's fair. That is completely fair. But yeah. So that's why it's like, okay, we will see what happens between now and the January transfer window. Because I can tell you right now, if he's not playing between now and then, and he wants to make that side, yeah, he needs to go on loan somewhere. I can't blame him.
Yeah. All right. Look, we're 57 minutes in, and we've spoken a lot about Kobbie. I want to move on to let's do a couple of little predictions, and then I want to congratulate the Manchester United women's team just on a bit of a lighter situation. So, scoreline predictions from the boys. I'll go first. I think my head's telling me we're going to come away with a draw today, and I know that's sitting on the fence a bit, but I just think United boys, after last week, they're going to have to come out and do something. I don't think Chelsea's going to win their game for the first time in 13 years. I think we'll take away
that's
a draw.
More bad news for us now, boys. More bad news now. 2-0.
What's that? 2-0, you're saying?
Well, no, 2-0 in the Merseyside derby now. That's what it is.
2-0.
Scored.
That was your score prediction.
Ekitike just scored.
You guys have got to stop watching that and watch the under 18s. We're up 4-0.
That is bittersweet for me because I have Ekitike's name in my fantasy team.
I think we all do now at this point. We've all got Ekitike.
It's
but as for the score prediction, I'm going to say 3-1 Chelsea.
Friggin' hell, George!
Wow,
I love your honesty, George. You've been great here.
Hey, you know what? Let's rub it in. Garnacho comes off the bench and scores. Let's really rub it in.
No, you gotta go. Now you gotta go.
Yeah. Jesus. I can see Tom's sweating a little bit there with this.
No, I'm sweating because Liverpool are going to have 21 titles by Christmas. No, look, the smart money would be sort of in and around what George said. I think Chelsea are big favourites, but look, I said a draw last week against Manchester City, but I do see a situation where Manchester United sort of doing somewhat improve and deliver somewhat a better result. So look, I'll go 1-1 draw, but it could be anything. But look, it's just one of those things that wouldn't shock you. Just even the way Chelsea go about their business as well wouldn't shock you. Manchester United rock up and get a win.
Their defense. We haven't spoken about Chelsea's defense, but their defense is pretty light on. So
their two center backs are pretty much where they're
second choice.
Yeah, between I'm gonna butcher his name, Adarabayo and Chalaba.
Yeah, tossing out of Rabayo.
Yeah.
Every time Mbuma gets the ball in the attacking half, I get a little bit of confidence. That's not to
Yes.
say Manchester United are going to win this today,
Yes.
but I have a feeling another day against at the Etihad, he scores 2 or 3 goals.
We need to
exact
put
same
just-
performance.
under pressure. We need to.
I just think we got to test Robert Sanchez early. Like
Yes.
he's got.
Yes. Yeah.
Look, even when Onana was in the league, I still thought Sanchez was the worst keeper in the league. So like we got to test him.
Before we move on to somebody else, I love Rob's 2-1 win, goals by Mbumo and Sesko, mate. I love that.
Well.
I'm looking.
I think I'm gonna go 2-1 United. We will bounce back. We're playing a Chelsea team who have just played midweek in Germany and have travelled away.
Germany is not far.
Yeah, but it's a tough place to go and play, and it was a tough game. And he played, some of those players like they backed up from the weekend game. So I think we'll go out and win 2-1. Won't be easy, but I think we'll go and win 2-1.
There's 3 players that we have to focus on. I think if we can get them out of the game, I think we can win this match. And so I mentioned 2 of them before, but I purposely saved him for the end, and that's Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer, we've seen it. He's somebody who will step up for the big occasions for them. And if I remember correct, he is a United fan as well too.
Yes.
So he's gonna want to come to Old Trafford and do something big. So
he scored a hat trick against us last time.
That's what I'm saying. He's already done that big against
He's already done that.
So it's going to be tough because do I think we will concede? Yes. Do I know the amount of goals yet? No. Do I also believe that their 2 center backs and goalkeeper are there for the taking if we take advantage? Yes.
I want to say this as someone who hasn't properly watched Chelsea this season. I haven't studied them. Don't think I've watched a 90-minute game of Chelsea. I think we all follow Chelsea. Sort of fans got friends, and you see 1 or 2 images or highlights pop up, or you hear them talking to people. It seems Reece James is in and around a midfield discussion. He plays sort of
the issue with Reece James. Reece James is basically playing as a defensive mid. But the problem with Reece James is it's kind of like Mason Mount, where his fitness is a problem.
Yeah.
You don't know when he's going to get injured, but when he's fit and going, he's phenomenal.
He'll be on the bench. He won't play.
He's phenomenal. So like I don't know. I can't give you a definitive that he's going to play or not. I don't even know if he's fit right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm going to go to my score prediction. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? To me, I don't know. Yeah. All right, well, we'll settle on those. I do like the 2-1 score line, but for me, I'm trying to stay away from George's 3-1 loss. But I'll be happy to take away look, we all want the 3 points, but
this is what, out of the next 3 games, this is one that if we can pick up a point, we'll be happy.
Yeah.
And the pressure on the manager maybe going into the next game is a lot less than if we actually lose this game.
Yeah. All right. I want to congratulate Manchester United. Everyone knows I'm a big part of the women's game, and I love it. I love the women's game. Always up. Tom and I sometimes chat a bit. We're up watching the women's game. Dean Garden's all over the women's game as well. I want to congratulate them making the Champions League. It's massive, massive news because all you ever hear is, from the hierarchy at United, how much they're costing them and everything like that. But you know what? It's positive for Manchester United women that they've been up against it ever since they've come in, and they've started, 3 years ago now, 4 years ago. They've had players coming into the squad, going out of the squad. We've lost a lot of very good players. But whoever's picking up these players for the women's side is doing a fantastic job, because I know whenever a player is coming out of the team, I'm always like, who are we going to replace them with? And we always seem to replace them with someone better. their results have been fantastic lately, and I can't wait. Everyone knows I'm a big collector, as you can see in the background, and I'm looking forward to getting some of because they only make women's cards in the Champions League when they make the Champions League. So I'm looking forward to maybe an Ella Toon, Manchester United card, other than a sticker. So,
We'll be on it.
Which is great news. But I'm looking forward to watching them in the Champions League and also 500 goals. Now, I was looking at the goal scorers for United over the past 4 years, and Ella Toon's up there. I didn't even realise it was that many. It was actually double what I thought. She's up to 62 goals for Manchester United.
Wow.
That is just fantastic.
That's incredible.
And not only that, she scores some crackers,
Yeah,
absolute crackers goals.
She
And
does.
Congratulations to her. We've got Leah Galton on 44 goals. Katie Zelms was on 32. Lauren James. I forget Lauren James.
How many did Russo have?
Russo's only on 26.
I thought it was more. Wow.
Yeah. So that's your top 5 for United, but fully congratulations to them. Look, guys, I think it was an unreal pod tonight, and it's an absolute honour to have you blokes on. And when I wrote the list today, sorry?
So I got some memorabilia for today as well, since I know you like to.
That's right, yes. Devin's got some memorabilia for tonight. He told us before the show. So what do you got, buddy?
So I'll start off with going back to better times against United Chelsea. I think you know where I'm going with this already. I've got a poster here signed by the 08 starting 11 from the Champions League final. And
yes.
everyone who's asking, I haven't bought my house yet, so that's the only reason it's not in a frame. It only came out of the protective tubing right now just for that. And then
that's probably the cheaper part of the poster.
And then, of course, I have to have a shirt from there.
Yeah.
But to make it even better, signed.
Oh, well done.
So,
mate, are you one of these fans that have touched base with Ronaldo?
No, I have not yet. But
okay.
I know people. I have people that have, and so I just got people where they get memorabilia. I say when something pops up, you better call me right away about it, and I was fortunate to get that one.
Very nice, Devin.
Actually, Adam, I've got a question for you.
Who I can touch base with like that is Wes Brown.
Okay, yeah.
Adam, I've got a question for you in regards to memorabilia. I should be able to reach it. It's here. Back in regards to cards, I think you might have been with us, Adam, the day. Obviously, here Manchester United versus Chelsea, quite fitting again in regards to Juan Mata. I'm not sure if this is a great bit of memorabilia now, or Juan Mata himself completely ruined it. But it's just like a $2 card sort of thing. I just sort of bought it off eBay for a couple of bucks, but it's one of the material cards where it's got a bit of fabric. And I gave it to Mata after one of the games out at Parramatta. And I said, can you sign it for us? I was expecting him to sign it on the card. Yeah, but he signed it on the shirt. That's like, CNC. Just a bit of a scribble on the shirt.
Yeah. He does it to all of them.
So I know it's kind of special to me in regards to I don't really need the visual of the signature. Just, okay, it's part of his shirt. It means something to me. And I'm not going to be selling it or anything. But just maybe I think if I had another one, I'll get him to sign the card so I could see the shirt a bit more visibly.
So with saying that, so I actually, when I got my card done, so they're used generally match worn. Juan Mata's ones are usually match worn inside that. I got mine signed at the airport, and Juan signed the piece of match worn material, and I was horrified. So I actually contacted Yoni, who is right into cards. And he frothed it straight away. He's just gone, that is sick. That is so good. That's the best. Hardly any players sign on match-worn material. And funny enough, I ended up with another one. I requested one not to sign it on the material. So Elliot's right into cards as well. So apparently it is prestigious if they do sign on the material. And one is one of those players that when he does get a card, he likes to sign it on the material. So there you go, Tom. It is very good.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Thank you again for coming on. I think we're going to be doing one Monday evening after this game. I couldn't possibly do one tomorrow after the game. So for anyone that I want to thank Rob that was in the chat. So I want to thank him for coming in. Must be a Welsh boy, one of your mates,
Cheers,
Elliot.
Rob. Cheers, Rob.
Yes. So thank you for coming in. And remember to like, share, subscribe, because I always forget to say that. So cheers, boys, for coming on. Enjoy the game. 3 points are coming our way.
Set
Come
your
on, United.
alarms.
Let's go. Get excited, George.
Thank you for having us. Hopefully Liverpool blow another 2-goal lead and this time don't score a winner and we'll all go into the game happy.
Yes.
Get over and watch the 18s. They're about to score another one. So, all right, boys. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Take
See you
care.
later.
Yeah. Thank you.